Have you wanted to try sublimation but you're not quite sure where to start? This video might help. Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah. Today's video is a little bit different to normal because I'm not making something with my Cricut machine. Instead, this is a setup video for something very new and exciting, which is a sublimation printer. This is an Epson SureColor F100 and it's a dedicated sublimation printer. So if you've been wondering what is a great, affordable, beginner sublimation printer to get started with, this is a great option to choose. And what's really nice is that because it's a dedicated sublimation printer, that's what it is specifically made for. It comes with the sublimation inks with it, so you know you're going to be putting in the right inks, and there's no printer converting to do like you might have to do if you're buying a non-sublimation printer and trying to turn it into one. This just all works straight out of the box. Now, Epson did send me this printer for free in exchange for this video, and they are also compensating me for creating it for you, but all opinions are my own. So let's get it set up, and I have been putting off making this video for a couple of weeks. I have been moving house, which to be fair did take up a lot of time, but also I am really bad when it comes to setting up computer hardware or anything technical. If you put me in front of some software like Cricut Design Space or Adobe Photoshop, I can pick that up really easy and I really enjoy playing about with it and learning new things. But when it comes to actual physical hardware, that scares me. So I thought I'd set this up on camera so that we can hopefully see just how easy it is. And please know that if I can do this, you definitely can too. Alright, so I'm going to try and tip this up so you can see it a little better. This is what the front of the printer looks like. We've got our tank here, which is where we'll be adding in all of the inks. And I like that it's sort of see-through so that you can see when your ink is running out. There is an LCD screen here, which is going to light up and give us various options. We've got all the buttons here, a power button and a help button and a little home. The paper will come in through the bottom and then come out of this one here. So yeah, I think we're ready to check the installation guide and see how to do it. I really like that when it's come out the box, it's got all these bits of blue tape on to hold everything in place. It means that when it's being transported to you in the post, then everything's going to stay where it should and nothing's going to get broken. It's nothing worse than buying something, especially something that you've been saving up for, and it comes broken, whereas this was beautifully packaged. All I've done so far is take things out the box, but apart from that, it's all exactly as it comes. It comes with some really good instructions, so I'm going to work through those one at a time and try and get this printer working. Step one is to take off all of the blue tape from around the printer. So I'm going to do that. I apologise that you can't really see what I'm doing. For some parts of this, I'm going to try moving my camera around so you can see better, or I might record some bits on my phone and then just lie them over the top, because my camera's set up to come from above, and that's not overly helpful for a video like this. But I'm going to get all the blue tape off and then we'll move on to step two. I've taken all the blue tape off, and step two is to open up the top of the printer. Here we go. You cannot see that. Let me try and move it around so you can see. There we go. I'm going to open up the printer and then open out the lid here. And I guess that's just going to close on top. I wonder if I can... Ah, there we go. We can pull it up all the way so it stays open. This is what I mean about me being scared with things. I don't like pulling things in case I break them. But we're good. So here are my little containers for all the ink. I'll do my black ink first. Here we go. It's nicely shrink packed to keep it safe and secure. And it says, shake the ink bottle 15 times. Okay, I cheated and did it 20 times. I also knocked into the printer, so try not to do that. Okay, Now I'm going to open this up. Scissors. Okay. Let's see what this instruction guide says that's taped to the side. It's probably just going to say the same thing that I'm looking at. No, that's just allergy warnings and that it will stain things you put it on and some safety stuff. Okay, that's fine. Back to my instructions. Remove the cap whilst keeping the ink bottle upright. Okay. All of the ink containers on the side have a marker on them that shows when you get to the top, so I need to make sure I don't fill it more than that. And then match it up. So I've got, it says BK on here, it also says it up here, so you can say C for black, and it says insert the ink bottle straight into the port to fill ink to the upper line. Okay, so there's two little rectangle bits here, which is going to correspond to that. Ooh. Oh, okay, that goes in there nice. I can hear it glugging. It says not to squeeze the bottle, so I'm just going to wait for that to fill up. I can see already that it's starting to fill up the tank on the side. So I'm going to let that glug away. It's glugging away, filling up, and I'm just keeping my eye on it for when it gets to that top line. It does say it will stop automatically when it gets to the top, so I'm going to leave it and wait until it stops making the noise. It's now stopped glugging, so take it off. Don't leave it on there for longer than it has to be on there. There's still a little bit left in the bottle, which I can use another time to refill. Put the lid back on securely. You don't want to get that ink anywhere. So I've taken my bottle out of the top and then down the side. This one here, this black one, is now full. If I tilt it down, you can see it's gone all the way up to that very top line. And then close that off. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing now for the other colours. As you can see, those tanks are now full. So I just need to close that one. Close that down. And then close down the lid. That's looking all good. Now, one thing I noticed when I was filling them is that the cyan one, the blue one, took about 3 times as long to fill up as the others. I don't know if that was just me. Maybe I didn't quite have it in right, or maybe I didn't shake it enough. But just if you're filling this one and you notice it's slow, or any of them, maybe it's just some of them are slow. But anyway, it's taken me less than 10 minutes to do them all, so it's a really quick setup. Now I can move on to the next step. The next thing to do is to plug in the printer. So at this point, up until now, nothing's been plugged in while we did the ink. So let's unravel this, take that off, and get it plugged in. So I'm guessing the hole is on the back. It is, you can't see, but it's on the right hand side down the bottom. I've just found a couple more bits of blue tape on the back too, which I'm going to take off now. I've put my plug in, and then this just goes into the back of the printer, just a very simple cable. Next, I need to press and hold the on button until the light comes on, which it has, and the screen's popped up. So I want it in English. Okay. Ooh, look at that. It's making a noise. It said it was processing for a few seconds, and now it says see the start here sheet to complete initialization. So that's the printed instructions that come in the box. And on that it says, when you see that message that says start here, press the question mark for 5 seconds. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Confirm that the tanks are filled with ink. Okay. And now it's going to initialize. It's a bit noisy. It says it takes about 14 minutes. So I'm going to go make a cup of tea and come back a bit later. That is pretty noisy, right? It now says initialization is complete. Move on to print quality adjustments. So I need to put my paper in and open it up. Where am I going? In here. I'll open out this blue bit by pushing in the little tab and then pull out all the way. There we go, all the way to the edge. And then put in my paper. This is just regular A4 copy paper. And then just push it in a bit so it holds it in securely. And close that up. It's now saying to do print adjustments. Press OK. And OK. And print nozzle check. Okay, load A4 paper, I've already done that. So, print. Wondering if that might need to be pulled out actually. Look, my first printout from my sublimation printer. Here we go, little test sheet. It's wearing away after printing that. Okay, check the printer and select the closest result. You can have a look on here. Not sure if you can really see, but it's done a great job. There's no gaps in it, so I'm going to press the second option. It's now asking if I want to align the print position, so might as well do that too. That's printed a different sheet. It's got lots of squares on it. Some of them have got little white streaks running down, and on the screen now it's telling me to select the one with the least amount of streaks, which is very close between 3 and 4, but I think 4 has got it. And then it's asking me to print again, so let's click OK. Alright, now I've got this, and it's asking me to choose rectangles that are not separated or overlapped. So it's actually pretty close between 5, 6 and 7. They look pretty similar. 6 I think looks best. And it now says the adjustments are complete. Now that I've done that, I can fill up my tanks again, because when it did the charge that took 15 minutes, it emptied some of the ink out as it moves through the system. So I'm going to go fill those back up and then we can connect to the computer. We're now on to the part of connecting the printer to the computer. Go to epson.sn and you'll get to this page. And I can type in SC-F100. There it is, it's coming up for me. Give it a search. Okay, let's get started. I've already done the hardware. So let's download the software. Give it an install. I have finished filling the ink tanks. Next. Okay. Okay, so now we have different options for connection. I'm going to go for Wi-Fi because the place where I want to put this printer will be too far away from my computer to be able to connect with a cable. Okay, next. This will obviously be different depending on what option you choose and what you've got available to you. It's now installing something else. Okay. Make sure the printer is on and no messages about performing operations appear on the control panel. It is switched on, there's nothing on the control panel, so I'm assuming that's fine. Okay, I think the panel on my printer had just gone to sleep. I hit one of the arrows and it came back. So let's choose Wi-Fi and press OK. Then I'll select its recommended option. And then start setup. I'm just going to follow this through. It's basically just telling me what to do on the screen. I press it on the screen and then press next here. It spent a few seconds thinking about it and now it's found my network on the printer, so I can go ahead and select that one. Now I need to go and put in my password, which is very long and complicated, so I'm going to pause this video and go and do that and then come back. Okay, I've entered my password and pressed OK. Oh, I could have done it on here rather than type it out on the screen. That's fine. I've already done all this on the screen. I didn't realise it was going to say I could do it here too. Alright, that's all done, so that's great. And now it's telling me there is a firmware update on the printer. So I'm going to go ahead and do that when this is finished. There's a few more setups to do on the screen. Printer connected. Amazing. That was easy. Your product is ready to use. Finish. That was really easy. I was expecting it to be horrible because normally when you set printers up, it's horrible. But that could not have gone smoother. I'm very, very happy. Okay, and it's doing the firmware update straight from here, so I don't need to do it on the machine. Turn the power off and on again, making sure no jobs in the print queue. Okay. I'm just turning the power off, and I don't know if you can hear, but it's making a lot of noise when you do that. So don't panic if yours starts whirring away when you try to turn it off. Alright, it's gone off, so let's turn it back on. Press start on here, and now it's going to do a firmware upgrade. So this is the kind of software on the printer itself so that it knows all of the latest settings, security updates and everything. So if you do have a firmware update, it is good to do it. It means you'll get the best out of your printer. Failed to send the firmware file to the printer. Maybe it's forgotten the Wi-Fi connection. Alright, rather than do it from my computer, I'm actually updating it straight on the printer. If you go into the settings menu, it will let you do it. Now it's asking me if I want to install software. I don't want customer research, but I'll put the firmware update on. I'm actually just going to wait for the printer to finish doing its firmware update, just so it's not doing two things at once. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and then follow this through, and then hopefully we can start printing some stuff out. The firmware's all finished updating, so now I'm going to do my first test print. I've opened up Cricut Design Space and I've put in 2 of my layered gnomes. These are designed to be cut from cardstock, so there are lots of different pieces at the moment. But to turn it into a printable file for sublimation, simply click on the image and press the flatten button at the bottom of the layers panel. That changes it into just one layer, and you know it's done it because all the black lines within the design disappear. I'll do the same for the female one, and then I'll make them a little smaller. I'll go for 3 inches. And as this is just a test, I'm just going to put them on a little bit of scrap material to see how we're going with the sublimation process. But first, let's see if this works. So I'll click make. Let's not worry about saving it. You won't actually need to cut it with your Cricut. We're just going to print it. And because it's sublimation, I need to remember to mirror. So let's mirror. I think I do anyway. It might be that the printer does it automatically. I'm not sure, so we'll see. I'll mirror it just in case. And send to printer. I don't want to add the bleed because that'll affect the print. That's when it puts an extra little bit of colour around the edge. I've got the correct printer selected there. And I do want use system dialog so I can change my settings. And then let's press print. Design Space isn't actually the best software to choose when doing sublimation prints because it puts the black lines around the edges, which I'll have to cut off. And also you don't get a lot of color settings with it. But just for now, as it's what I'm used to and it's what I usually use on my channel, that's what I'm going to use here. All right, look in my preferences, change it to high quality. And that's all fine. Okay. Let's press OK and print. Moment of truth. Here's my printout, and one thing is that it did automatically mirror for me. So now I've mirrored twice, once in Design Space and then the printer did it. So it's kind of ended up looking the same as what it did before I mirrored. That's actually amazing that the printer automatically mirrors for you. It means that you never, ever, ever have to remember. It will just do it. So that, in my opinion, is absolutely worth getting a dedicated sublimation printer over one that you're converting to just never have to mirror. For this design, it doesn't really matter anyway because it's just gnomes. They don't really have a right and wrong way round. So let's cut these out. Remember, the ink's only going to transfer where there is ink, so we need to get rid of these corners, and then it doesn't matter that they're not cut out, you know, how a Cricut would normally cut it out so it's touching the edges. I have heard that ripping the paper is better because it doesn't leave as many marks, but I'm just going to cut it for now. This next bit is absolutely my best guess. I haven't put any time into researching best settings or anything because I want to make sure I do that properly and do my research. So this is just an introductory, let's have a go at it while it's all shiny and new. And then my next video will go into actually using the printer in much more details. One thing you will notice is that the colours look really dull when they're printed. That is normal for sublimation ink. It looks dull on the paper, but once it's pressed, it'll come to life. I'm using a Cricut brand polyester t-shirt that came in one of the old mystery boxes that I bought. With all the love in the world, I will never be a medium. So this has just been sat in a cupboard. So I thought it would be great to use as a tester for my sublimation projects while I'm learning how to use it. So I would recommend getting something that you can practice on. It doesn't have to be a t-shirt. It can be any bit of material. Just make sure it has a high polyester count. This t-shirt was created, it's a Cricut official one, which is designed for use with their infusible ink, which is basically the same kind of premise as sublimation. So it should work fine. And then I've got my heat-proof mat here. I've got another sheet of paper to put inside to make sure the colours don't bleed through onto the back. Here we go. I'm not worrying about where I put it. This is just going to get covered with test things over my next few videos. So I'm just going to do it right in the middle. And one there and there. I did do a little bit of quick research as to temperatures, but I haven't looked at it for this particular type of ink. So again, this is just my best guess. I've set it to 195 degrees Celsius and 45 seconds on the time. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, I've done it the wrong way around. Obviously, the ink actually has to touch the t-shirt or it's not going to transfer. That would have been an embarrassing mistake, wouldn't it? Okay, I've got a Teflon sheet. Not sure if that's recommended or not, but just in case, I'm going to put it on there. And now I'm going to press. Okay. Oh, I'm really nervous. Right. Let's give it a try. See what happens. There we go. Push down with some medium pressure. It's counting down on my easy press. It's got to 0. Just giving it a few bonus seconds. Okay. So this is interesting. I can see my gnomes the right way up now. Oh, look, it's bled through onto my Teflon sheet. Look at that. They look amazing. Oh, the colours have really, really come to life. They look fab. Let's take that paper out. Oh, look at them. Ow, it's really hot. I'm going to try and move it up, but it's still hot. That looks so good. The colours are really, really bright and vibrant. It's got so much detail in. You can kind of see a bit where the edge of my paper was. So I don't know if maybe that would come out over time, or if that's why it's recommended that you tear it rather than cut it, so it's a bit of a softer edge. But it is very subtle, you can only just see that. But they look so good. Wow, I really wasn't expecting to be able to set it up and just have it work. And it did, so I'm very happy. I guess my Teflon sheet's kind of ruined though, because the colours have bled on. You can kind of see, especially here. So if I was to put that on something else, then it risks those colours going on. But that's okay, that is something to learn. I'll cover up the paper with something else next time, probably just another couple of sheets of paper, or I will have a look online, see what's recommended. It's normal for there to be a little bit of ink left, that's fine, throw them away, they're no good. But look at that. Gnomes on a t-shirt. Okay. I'm just going to sit here for ages now just looking at this. Oh, they look so good. Okay, well, that's the end of my setup video on how to use the Epson SureColor F100. And I am just so impressed. That was so easy to set up the printer. For someone like me who is a complete technophobe when it comes to hardware, I'm just thrilled with how the whole thing worked. Everything was simple. The instructions included in the box and on the website were brilliant. And I've done my first print. So yeah, super duper happy. I'm going to go away and do some more testing, and I'll be back soon with some more sublimation project ideas using my fancy new sublimation printer that I am now just a little bit in love with. Thank you for watching. Bye!